Hey guys, so this is definitely a different kind of video than I usually make, but it was about AI, and that's kind of been the thing I've been covering for quite a long time, and I thought this was kind of interesting, so I figured I'd make a video about it. Will Smith, on social media, posted a very interesting video of a crowd, and people have realized that the video is actually fake and is completely AI generated. But there's more to this story than just that. And I think this actually has a pretty interesting I think this actually gives a pretty interesting perspective on the state of AI in general, actually. So we're going to go ahead and cover the whole thing in today's video. Let's get right into it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and look at this article by TechCrunch. AI or not, Will Smith's crowd video is fresh cringe. Will Smith posted a video on social media that shows oceans of fans cheering him on during his recent European tour. However, in these thousands deep crowds, some fans are holding up signs, and the video just gives off an odd aura. It looks believably real at first glance, until you look closer and find digitally mangled faces, nonsensical figure placements, and oddly augmented features across the series of clips. This is the video in question, and you can kind of see it's pretty realistic looking. I don't have the audio on because there's copyrighted music that I cannot show on YouTube, but as you can see, it looks pretty real until you look a little closer at it and you kind of begin to realize that it's a little not real. It's pretty believable. You can kind of tell it's a little fake just due to how the image looks. How some things are oversaturated and undersaturated. It's kind of believable, kind of not believable. I think for some parts there's actually real, like, footage used. You can kind of see there, though, if we go back just a little bit. You can definitely see here, how, yeah, that's definitely AI. That's not correct. But it's weird, right? It's definitely a very strange video, and it's definitely caused quite the storm. And obviously it talks about, it's kind of caused some reputational damage for Will Smith after, especially after the whole, Will Smith, Chris Rock slapping thing. But we're not really here for all of that. I'm not TMZ. I'm not going to talk about Will Smith drama. I don't really care about that aspect of it. What I do care about, however, is a few different things. One, the actual fans themselves weren't fake. Believe it or not, the actual fans weren't fake, or at least according to TechCrunch. They kinda aren't fake. For example, if you look here, some of these, like, things, like the signs and whatnot, are actually from real photos that happened at Will Smith concerts. So I guess what they did is they took source material from actual fans and turned it into an AI video because it's easier to montage into a short, I guess. So there's an air of legitimacy to it. It's not completely AI generated. It's not completely made up. So I guess their whole idea was, you know what would be cool? We take all these images, we just get all these cool images from Will Smith concerts, and we use AI to make it into a video so it's a little more appealing for people to watch. And that's kind of the whole thing they did, I guess. And I've heard worse ideas. At least it didn't completely AI generate the whole thing. Still interesting regardless, though. And it was definitely a move. And the thing of it is that obviously it was not very well received, and for obvious reason. People don't really like like things that are obviously AI generated, or just AI generated things in general, people want legitimacy. So, you know, when you see stuff like this and it looks all weird and mangled, and people don't like that for obvious reasons. I don't like that. And I mean, I cover AI constantly on my channel, and I don't like this. It's pretty bad execution. I see what they were trying to do, but wow, this is terrible. And furthermore, it was also really bad timing for Will Smith's PR team, because YouTube had recently begun testing a feature that would use traditional machine learning technology to unblur, denoise, and improve clarity, which makes the short look even more fake than, like, it was originally, because his channel got opted into this QA test, so it looks even more fakey. So it's something. The thing I find interesting about this, though, is the fact that for some parts it looks pretty realistic. You couldn't tell it's AI unless you looked real close and noticed how the hands and the faces just look a little bit off and the movements aren't quite correct. It looks pretty legitimate. It doesn't look like completely fake. Some of the lighting is accurate enough. It's not completely like AI generated looking. Now, that's not to say you can't tell it's AI generated, but the thing I find interesting about this is how realistic looking it is. And that's kind of scary when you actually have to take some serious effort to look into something and see whether or not it's AI generated. We're starting to get in a day and age now where AI is improving so much that it's actually getting hard to figure out whether or not something's AI generated or not. And you have to watch it for a few minutes and get an eye on whether or not something is AI generated. You kind of have to like suss things like this out now, which, to be honest, I find kind of scary because, you know, this is a pretty tame use of AI, but I feel like as this technology gets better and better, how are we going to differentiate the real from the fake? Especially for handling really, really important things like, you know, somebody using this kind of technology to make like a presidential speech or something like that. People have tried stuff like that before, but it's pretty easy to figure out that, oh, it's fake. We're at a day and age, though, now where you can make some pretty realistic-looking things with AI. It's kind of a double-edged sword of AI. There's some cool uses of it, and there's also some pretty bad uses of it. And I feel like generative AI, especially for videos, in my opinion, I can kind of see some upsides of the technology, but I see way more downsides with this kind of tech than at least this implementation of AI. I do think generative AI, like large language models, have a use. This, however, I don't know, I don't exactly like this. It sets a scary precedent, in my opinion, especially for people using this for the not-so-right purposes. It's just, I don't know. I think it sets kind of a scary precedent, in my opinion. And I don't personally see the, like, super net benefits in, like, video generative AI. It's a cool technology, but I couldn't really see myself using it for anything. Not even really for, like, maybe other than just for, like, a gag at one point or another. But typically, if I want to make something, I'll just make it myself, because that's how I know I'm going to get a better product out of it, and just in my opinion. And I do feel like people prefer legitimacy and real things as opposed to fake things. And there's always going to be a market for real human work. But that's just my opinion of the matter. If you guys have a different opinion, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below, especially because this is a very interesting situation, and it kind of involves a really popular celebrity. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. That is about it for today's video. Like, comment, subscribe, take care of you guys, and remember, as always, to stay safe out there.